Hi, I'm Terry Brock with Business Journals. You might have heard of the term Internet of Things. It's a way that we're connecting the world more, and you need to know about it. To find out how we can use this for business and go beyond just the technology, Steve Brumer is joining us. He's from 151 Advisors in the Atlanta area. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Terry.
Well, I hear about this Internet of Things, IoT. First of all, what in the world does it mean?
You know, that's a great question because it means so many different things. You know, it started out as M to M a couple of years ago, and now it's the Internet of Things. And I think it's all about Cisco changing using the new acronym of the Internet of Everything. And it's really an interesting definition for us. It's the idea that can you connect things, whether it's a business product or a consumer product or a car or a meter or anything else, through the internet. So that's where your data communications is going. Now, to get to the internet, could it be wireless? Could it be wireline? Doesn't matter. So it is the connectivity through the internet cloud back with that data.
It seems like most of the time it would probably be wireless. Is that correct?
Yes, I would say that that is where the trend is going, but it's going to take a little while to get there, right? So as we continue to look at the size of devices, the size of products, and the things that you're trying to communicate within the home, it could be Wi-Fi, it could be power line communications like we talked about, or Zigbee, or one of the other issues, or one of the other methods of communication. In the outside world, it makes sense to do it on a wireless basis. So 4G, 3G, 2G modules, depending on what you're trying to put it together.
That sounds good, but the person watching this is a small business, a medium-sized business owner. They don't have time for, we'll say, falderall. There's some more colorful military terms, but we'll use a falderall here. And they're saying, okay, I just need to know how's this going to help me in business. Give me some examples of how using the Internet of Things can help people in business to get more done, increase sales, be more productive. How is Internet of Things going to help them?
It's a difficult question to answer because it depends on what that business person is doing. From a retail perspective, then you're looking at the idea of what can I control remotely that's in my store, whether it's using iBeacons to be able to know where people are and using it from a mobile advertising standpoint. Was it an alarm? Was it a trigger of inventory levels on a particular shelf? Are you using RFID tags? Are you using NFC?
The RFID stands for?
Radio frequency identification. So it's the little tags that you might see on some clothes and devices. So the knowledge of that, taking that data and using the knowledge to analyze what is going on, would be a really good spot for an SMB to be able to start to be more efficient, increase their productivity, maybe save on inventory controls, various different things. It's a tough thing for an SMB to try and understand what the Internet of Things could do inside their facility. But from a overall productivity gain, it starts to add up once you start to have a little bit more of that information.
Can you think of some examples? I know you work with a number of different businesses, giving advice and helping them, you and your firm, coach them, consult with them, really help them out. Can you think of some examples that you can use if you have to change names and move things around? We understand, keep it confidential, but ways that they've implemented some of these ideas and use them. You could say, well, there was a Midwest firm that did da-da-da-da or something like that.
Well, again, using the Internet of Things from a B2B standpoint, let's go with a business to business standpoint, you're able to do a lot more control. So we have a client that has rolled out an alarm system for all of its stores. And in essence, that they can see who goes in and goes out, what times they go in and out. You would think that's some basic information, but it's tied to payroll. It's tied to efficiency of operation of people coming in and out of the store. So you know when shifts can be put in, you know when your peak times are, what days are going to be. You assume it is based on your point of sale, but this is tied directly to everything that's going in as far as monitoring. That same client decided to go with iBeacons, and we know what iBeacons are from being able to notice from your device where you are within the store. So they now know where to put people within the retail store because that area is has more merchandise for sale that people are going to. For example, the clearance racks. Many people go through the retail location right to the clearance rack, but that's like the last place you want to put a person. So this system that was designed for using the Internet of Things was able to track people's movements within the store, looking at it from a point of sale scenario, and being able to monitor that information. The efficiency was unbelievable. The efficiency was amazing.
Yeah, so it seems like this is the kind of thing we could use in many ways. In a way, it seems like it's tying into big data. The idea of collecting a lot of information that we got a piece here and a piece there, and we didn't realize it, but this one really affects this one. And we do it. Have you seen some of the correlation between Internet of Things and big data?
Absolutely. We just signed an agreement with a company called Illuminate 360 out of Alpharetta, Georgia. They have built a big data analytics package that allows you to be able to take that data, analyze it, and use it in whichever way you want, whether it's through your accounting systems, whether it's through your Salesforce automation products and everything else like that. We also have a client in Lithuania. Amazing. We do a lot of international clients that has a retail store analytics product. Strictly being able to take all that data that I was just telling you about that retail location, that's the engine that gives them that information.
So, well, we can see there's a lot going on with that. Let me get you to help us out on this. Get your crystal ball out, rub it really well, and where do you see we're going, and particularly how businesses can use this, what they need to be aware of, and what they need to start doing right now to be aware of, so that wherever it hits a year, 5 years, whatever it's going to be, who knows what it'll be, but predict what we need to do and kind of like what you would recommend we need to do to start getting ready for it.
Well, a lot of the things that are happening today in the Internet of Things are the automation of power requirements, lighting, dimming the lights inside your store or your retail locations or your office building for that matter. So I think you're going to start to look at saying, how can I save money? How can I be more efficient with whatever I am using Internet of Things for? So many times we look at the idea of Internet of Things being consumer oriented. We look at it more from an enterprise standpoint. We are an SMB, enterprise, B2B type of company that consults with organizations. And so when we look at how you can be more efficient, we look at the idea of how you can control those lights, how you can control water, what happens if over the weekend a main breaks and something happens within your facility. So I think the average business guy has got to look at how can you use automation through the Internet of Things, the connectivity within that building, within that office, to your advantage. And that's a tough thing for a small, it's like the last thing they think about, because they're only thinking about sales 101. They just want to know what you're getting, how much money we're making today. But I think that you're going to see over the next year or two, and if you look at the show, the Internet of Things is the automation of your home, the automation of appliances and lighting and alarms and garage door openers and being able to monitor IP cameras remotely. Those are all part of the Internet of Things. Well, just take that into an SMB standpoint. What can you do more efficiently? How can you track your packaging, tracking your deliveries, tracking the food that's going from one restaurant to another, all those types of things. So I think once somebody gets a better feel for the ease of use and what it can be used for, you're going to find a lot more small, medium-sized businesses adapting to the Internet of Things.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Well, I know that people are interested in learning more about this. If they want to know more about it, your website, I think, has rich resources with white papers and things like that. Someone says, hey, I want to know more about this. How do they get in touch with you?
Well, we actually have a full Internet of Things end-to-end practice within our organization. So you can go to 151advisors.com and you'll click on that, and we have a series of white papers and a series of practical case studies on what's going on in the IoT space and how you can get involved in it, because a lot of people are very, very hesitant on, they don't understand it, they don't see it, and we want to educate them.
Excellent. And please spell that for us, for those that are listening to audio very carefully in case they might not be native English speakers. How again, that website?
It is the numbers 151 advisors, ADVISORS.com.
Excellent. Well, a lot of good things happening there, and we appreciate your insight into it from a practical business point of view, not just the technology. That's good. We love that. We want the business, and you bring that out once more. Thank you very much for being with us, Steve. Reporting for Business Journals, I'm Terry Brock.